Hi guys, in this video we are going to learn about CIMA Code of Ethics. In our previous videos we have learned about what is ethics, main roles of IFAC. If you haven't watched those videos, I have given the links in the description. First go and watch those videos and join with this video. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe it. First of all, let's learn CIMA Code of Ethics reflects the standards CIMA expects of its members and students. You should remember that these codes of ethics apply to both students and members. As you all know, CIMA has several stages. If you finish those stages, you can become a member of CIMA. Until you finish those stages, you are a student of CIMA. However, both students and members should comply with CIMA Code of Ethics. Let's look some of the aims of CIMA Code of Ethics. One of those aims is identify the nature of the personal responsibility that the management accountant takes on part of the price for getting a reasonable salary. So it has an aim to ensure that the management accountant takes on part of the price for getting a reasonable salary and status. Another aim of CIMA Code of Ethics is provide guidance on how to identify the practical situation where particular care might need to be taken because of the ethical pitfalls involved. Other than that, provide general guidance on how to address those difficult questions. So these are the three aims of CIMA Code of Ethics. CIMA Code of Ethics has mainly three divisions. They are general application of the code. Part B, professional accountants in public practice. What I mean by public practice is government sector. So the part B is for professional accountants who are working in government sector. Part C is for professional accountants in business, that means in private sector. So part C is for professional accountants who are working in private sector. So you should remember these three parts. Now we can look the purposes of CIMA Code of Ethics. There are three main purposes of CIMA Code of Ethics. First one is CIMA Code of Ethics is aligned with global standards of the profession. As we all know, CIMA is a member of IFAC. CIMA's Code of Ethics should not be less stringent than IFAC Code of Ethics because it's a rule. If the member body draft their own code, they should not be less stringent than IFAC Code of Ethics. Therefore, CIMA Code of Ethics is aligned with global standards of that profession. Another one is CIMA Code of Ethics reflects its status as a chartered institute. Third one, CIMA Code of Ethics acts as a basis for any complaint of cases under CIMA disciplinary procedure. If there are any complaints against a CIMA member, there would be a disciplinary procedure. Under CIMA, in those cases, CIMA Code of Ethics act as a basis for them. So in our previous video, we have learned the 5 fundamental principles of CIMA Code of Ethics. In this video, we are going to have detailed explanation on those principles. Here are the 5 fundamental principles of CIMA Code of Ethics. First one, integrity. Another one, objectivity. Third one, professional competence and due care. Fourth one, confidentiality. Fifth one, professional behavior. First principle we are going to learn in this video is integrity. What's meant by integrity? Be honest and straightforward. Let's learn some circumstances where our integrity can be breached. So the first one, knowingly submitting a report with a misleading statement. If you do so, you will be breach in integrity. So what's mean by first? Let's say I'm a director of a company. So I'm a director of a company. I know that if I overstate the profit, I would be given larger bonus. So I'm doing fraud in the financial statement. If I do that, I'm breaching my integrity. Second one, knowingly submitting a report with an omission of key information. Let's assume that you are a businessman, you are selling a product to a customer. When you are selling that product, you have forgot to tell an important information about that product to the customer. If you do so, you are in breach of integrity. Another one is knowingly submitting a report that was prepared recklessly. What's meant by recklessly is you have prepared that financial statement, but you already know that you have already made a mistake when you are preparing that financial statement, but you are submitting that report to your management. If you do that, you are in a breach of your integrity. But if the accountant realized that he made a mistake and submit a modified report correcting his mistake, he will not be in breach of integrity. So you must note this point. If the accountant realized that he made a mistake and submit a modified report correcting his mistake, he will not be in breach of integrity. So this is a main point. The next principle we are going to learn in this video is objectivity. We can mainly divide these principles into three. First one, do not allow bias. What is bias? Inclination or prejudice for or against one person or group, especially in a way considered to be unfair. Let's look at an example. I'm running a business company. I'm hiring only white people for the jobs. Is it correct to do like that? Obviously, it's not an ethical activity. So this is an example for biased activity. That means it's we are in a breach of objectivity. The second one, conflict of interest. A conflict of interest is a situation in which an individual has competing interests or loyalties because of their duties to more than one person or organization. Let's say I'm a director of a company. My company is going to rent a land for their work. As a director, my interest is to reduce the rent cost. Let's say I'm also having another land in my own. I am willing to rent my land. If I rent my land to my company as a director, I will have the interest of low rent. As a landowner, I will have the interest of high rent. So these are two different interests. This is known as conflict of interest. That means conflict of interest is a situation in which an individual has competing with his interests. So this is an example for conflict of interest. So another point is undue influence. Influence by which a person is induced to act otherwise than by their own free will. So this is an easy to understand. Bribe and pressure from senior management are some of the examples for undue influence. So that means influenced by a person to do an activity like his way. If you accept a gift from them, you might work for their benefit. This is an example for undue influence. If you are accepting a very valuable gift from a client, you might work for their benefit. So this is a breach of objectivity. Let's say accepting to prepare accounts for a company that belongs to your best friend. Accepting to prepare accounts for a company that belongs to your best friend. When you accept to prepare account for friend's company, it may rise conflict of interest. As an accountant, your interest is to prepare a fair accounts. As a friend, you might try to misrepresent the accounts for your friend's future benefits. So these two can happen. So there are two different interests. So it's an example for conflict of interest. So these are some of the examples for breaching of objectivity. The third fundamental principle we are going to learn in this video is professional behavior and due care. We can separate this into two. First one is professional competence and second one due care. What is professional competence? Is the professional knowledge and skill at the level required to ensure that clients' employees receive competent professional service. So think that you are working as an auditor in an audit firm. As an auditor, you should have the knowledge to do that work properly. As well as you should also maintain that knowledge for this work. So this is known as professional competence. That means you should have the knowledge to do that work properly and you should always keep updating on that knowledge. So this is known as professional competence. What is meant by due care? Diligence encompasses the responsibility to act in accordance with the requirements. So it's not enough to have the required knowledge for that job. You also need to act in accordance with the requirements. So if you have the skills, if you have the knowledge, it's not enough. You should practice those skills in a better way. So this is known as due care. So this is the third principle of CIMA Code of Ethics. Next principle we are going to learn in this video is confidentiality. So a professional accountant shall maintain confidentiality including in a social environment, being alert to the possibility of inadvertent disclosure. What is meant by inadvertent disclosure? By mistakenly tell to close people. So if you are a management accountant, professional accountant, you should maintain confidentiality in a social environment too. So this is the main point. So another point is a professional accountant shall maintain confidentiality of information disclosed by past as well as prospective clients or employers. Prospective is future. So you should maintain confidentiality of information whether it is a past client or it is a future or it's a present. You should maintain the information confidentially. But there are some examples whether you can break this point. First one, use prior experience to a new client. When a professional accountant changes employment or acquires a new client, the professional accountant is entitled to use prior experience. However, it's not a breach of integrity. Sorry, it's not a breach of confidentiality. So you can use your prior experience to a new client. And the next point is disclosure permitted by law and is authorized by the client or the employer. So if you have a duty or if you have permitted by law and the client or the employer also authorized to disclose that information, you can disclose that information. So this is another point. Third one is disclosure is required by law by an appropriate public authority. The main point is if a lawyer asks for a confidential information, we can't give to him because he is a private person. But if an appropriate public authority asks that information, we can give to him because disclosure is required by law by an appropriate public authority. These are the some instances you can disclose the confidential information to others. Last point in this video we are going to learn is professional behavior. Professional behavior means the accountant must maintain a behavior that does not bring disrepute, dishonor to the professional body. This specifically includes abstaining from conduct that is illegal. So you should do a legal work only. So how professional behavior can be breached? Makes or permits or directs another to make materially false and misleading entries in the financial statements or records of an entity. That means if you direct or if you permit anyone to make misleading entries in the financial statement or records of an entity, it's a breach in professional behavior. Another one is make exaggerated claims. So what's mean by exaggerated claim means you can't do that offer, but you are telling that I can do for you. So you are making exaggerated claims. So this is also an example for professional behavior breaching. So another point is make disparaging references. So when you are working with others, you should compare your work with others. So you should not make disparaging references. So if you do so, you are in a breach of professional behavior. So these are the 5 fundamental principles of CIMA Code of Ethics. You should know very detailed in those 5 fundamental principles. I hope this video would be useful for you. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to share this video with your friends. Thank you.